Welcome back, subscribers. I'm just got off the phone with somebody that is a competitor in one of my businesses, and he's selling his business. And he wanted to know if I, wanted to buy customers. He's saying he's retiring. And as I got to talking with the guy, I'm driving through Raleigh and doing my thing, and listening to him tell me about his experiences in the business. It's like this is what happens when you're a business owner and you have like competitors or people that are like inside the same space, right? That you kind of go through the same type of crap. And as a business owner, what I'll tell you is there's positives and negatives to having these conversations. I would probably say that for people that are that have businesses, you'll be able to relate to this, and people that are thinking about starting a business, and want to kind of get out of the rat race, this is something that you should listen to because it's just an interesting effect, I guess, that happens whenever you start trading information between people that are doing the same exact thing and how they do it opposed you do it. So it's kind of like living in a house, like how your house runs and maybe your best friend's house and growing up, or friends of the family and the way that they take their vacations, how they spend their money, the way they keep their lawn, whatever it is, and you notice in those things. Oh, did you see Joe got his house painted? Oh, I better make sure I do that. Right. Or, oh,
Suzanne got a new car. We should go get a new car.
yeah, I think, right. It's keeping up with the Joneses. So the same thing happens inside a business. And as I'm talking to the guy, he's been in business. I didn't know he's been in business for 7 years. And I thought that was interesting because when we started the business about 5 years ago, I didn't see him until maybe a year into it out, in our territory. And like our territories would cross. It wasn't like it was like some heated rivalry. It wasn't anything very exciting, like going up against each other. And it's something his company was based out of Wake Forest, North Carolina. And ours was like more towards like Raleigh in the south, western side of Raleigh. So from where we are of our home base was about an hour and 15 minutes to Wake Forest. So Wake Forest is not Wake Forest University. Wake Forest there's a seminary or seminary that is in Wake Forest. But the university is in Winston-Salem. It's in the west of North Carolina. It's not in the town of Wake Forest, which is, when we first moved here, I was surprised as many others are. But anyway, he's pretty far away. So our overlap is basically northern Raleigh. He doesn't really have a lot of customers in that area. And most of his are like Wake Forest and Northern. So, but we ended up just talking shop. And this is a very important factor in understanding and keeping your psyche solid, I think, as an existing business owner, but then also for somebody that needs to really know the ins and outs of business. And this is some of the things that we talk about. And why I get into blockchain and crypto, and I want to know about it because I know it's valuable and it's a new emerging market and I'm interested in it. So I want to talk shop. I want to hear people's experiences with it or whatever the market is. And if you get involved in a market, you'll just you'll pick things up, just from natural attrition. So we start talking shop, and it's a good time for me to I'm asking him questions that basically, I don't know. I want to see how he's doing it. He's asking me how are you doing? And you say I don't know the guy. So I'm like, oh, I'm fine. It's fine. And he's like, yeah, I want to get out of I'm worn out. I want to retire. And I'm like, yeah, I hear you. I said, it's a grind, just like any other business. I said, it's the same thing. I said, it has its ups and downs. I said, pluses and minuses, but at the end of the day, it's not what everybody thinks when they get into this particular business. It looks on the surface level. It sounds better. It sounds like it's a wide open market. It's not. And I've talked about this before. It's a trash can cleaning business. Now we have these special trucks that pick up the cans, and it picks up the day after it's been, your trash hauler has hauled away your your weekly uh destruction of the planet, or your carbon for the week. And they're empty, and then we come through these trucks, and the trucks pick them up, and then pressure wash the insides. We take the water with us, and so on. So it's like you don't get dirty. It's not a micro dirty job type of thing. But anyway, there's it from a business perspective. There's a lot of pluses that drew me to this whenever it came across my desk years ago, when I was like about 6 years ago, and I thought, wow, this could be a really good retirement business. It's subscriptions, and people are consistently paying, monthly, and it's maintenance. It's like it's a cleaning business. I don't have to do sales tax. Da, 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 da. So there's all kinds of little pluses and stuff for it. And I looked around, and the market's wide open. I mean, if you think about it, how many people have trash cans, right? So it's wide open. It's new market. It's a new emerging market, which is top. But it looks like the sky's the limit. And if I can get the marketing out there right, then we should have, people, it's coming out my ears, right? Everybody needs to do it once in a while, right? Well, on paper, that seems like that would make sense. And what we found is it's seasonal. There's all kinds of little nuances in it, but I don't need to get into that. So this is just more about like the language between two separate business owners kind of running a race from the same kind of starting point, same relative area, and how is he doing it opposed to the way I'm doing it? And I'm at the point right now with this business, because I have other things going on with my investment company, and I started this before my investment company. Is this kind of like a transitional business, so I could have something I could, build while I was working on other things, and then sell it, in the future, because it's a sellable business because of the subscriptions. So lots of pluses. So he's telling me how he does his business, where basically he's like, I was like, I'll tell you everything I'm doing. It doesn't matter to me. It's like, even if you're not getting out of the business, I'll tell you everything I'm doing. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. There's no proprietary information that he's going to come in and wipe me out, because he wants to sell it, right? And he only does business like 9 months out of the year. He's seasonal. He just shuts down because he's older, and he's like, I didn't want to do it through the winter. Didn't seem like there was any point. Da 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 da. And he set the business up subscription based, just like what we did. And this is something that's interesting with this, is that we decided to do it monthly. And whether you do it monthly, you either do it one way or no way. I'm going to stick to my guns. And somebody else that was in this business said, do it this way and you won't have any headaches. You're going to have people push back on you and bitch, but just stick to your guns, because whenever it's a winter time, you're not going to have any business, and you don't want to have a seasonal business. That's a big no-no for an entrepreneur and a business owner. You don't want that. So we only really have one way to pay. And if you don't like that, then tough shit. That's just the way it is. And when I started this business, the customer is not always right. We are the ones that are right. Follow our policies, and I'm doing it differently than I've done other businesses. I'm not bending over for anyone. This is very simple. Follow the rules, and everything will be just fine. Now, this cat, well, he decided to go the old bend over route and do whatever the people are doing. And it's burned him out. He said to me flat out, he's like, I'm burned out. He's 59 years old. And he's like, the customers, he said, they're just so demanding, and they want that, they want this, and they change this and reschedule this. And I was like, yeah. It's like, well, what do you do? I was like, well, we don't do that shit. It's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, I don't do that. It's like, you either have it out there and ready, and if it's not, I said, we're not doing it. And I said, you pay. I said, so it runs like a train. That's tell everybody. I'm like, if you're not ready for us, and if you're on the route, then you're getting charged. They all pay forward. Like, I do not hunt money. You pay in advance. So if you screw up, it's not our problem, period. So that's the way we've always done it. And it's pissed a lot of people off, but the people that can follow the rules and be compliant, perfectly fine. Now, his complaints and concerns and things that he's having by running this business, I don't have them. So again, I'm listening to all his bitches and moans about running a business. I'm like, gosh, my complaints, I still complain like everybody else, but my complaints are not the same as this dude's. And because I've stuck to the policies of the company and dealt with it on the front end, if somebody gets butt hurt and pissed off at me, I could care less. Bye. See you later. I'm going to call somebody else. Great. Good luck. Bye. And it sounds, puffy chest, alpha male, asshole-ish. And I'm like, but you know what? Don't the customers, they make up their own stuff. They try to make up their own rules. You give them a set of 10 commandments, and what do? They figure out a way to run into the ground. So anyway, he's going on and on and on and on and on about this stuff. And he's like, well, how do you do it? He's like, well, I got to work tomorrow. Tomorrow's Saturday. Today's a Friday. And he's like, are you working tomorrow? I'm like, no, we don't work Saturdays. And he's like, you don't work Saturdays? Well, what do you do with the Friday pickups? I'm like, the people that get picked up on a Friday, because they have to be empty for us to do the work. So we do next day service. And I said, I don't do them. I said, I don't even bother. I said that my business runs Tuesday through Friday. And I said, so we do the Monday pickup days on Tuesdays and so on and so on and so on. I said, when it comes to Friday, if your trash gets picked up on a Friday, that's not my problem. I was like, I'm not working the weekends. I'm going to work 4 days a week because this is my business. And he says to me, he's like, I wish I would have done it that way. That's brilliant. I'm like thinking, dude, that's why you have a business. Like, what are you telling me? Like, no, it's like, you get to make your own choices and decisions. It's 100% real, true freedom by owning your own business, depending upon what market and things that you're doing. But I'm like, I'm not doing that. And when people call and complain, like, this isn't normal, be like, and I'm thinking, I'm like, good, because I'm not normal, because I want it my way. Well, what are you going to do if somebody else comes in and they decide to do it on a Saturday? They can have at it. I could care less. Well, that's dangerous because they're going to, I'm like, look at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays. They're doing just fine. Absolutely just fine. So at any rate, it's this guy telling me about all of his quandaries and, missteps in business management. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, well, the reason why you're burned out is you're the one that had created this quagmire of a business, and it's unsellable. So he has people he does it one time for. He has people he does it once a quarter, twice a year, like whatever. And I say, no. I say, I'll do it once. I said, but those ones, I said, I'm not going to buy any of those. If somebody does it one time, I said, that's just a tire kicker. I said, the only people that I would buy are people that are consistent. Like they'll do it once a month. I said, to me, that's worth something. And he's like, I said, well, how many customers do you have? And this guy's 7 years at it. He said, he's got 300 customers. And I was like, what? I didn't say that to him, but I'm thinking like, dude, man, I know you're a one-man band, but you aren't even sniffing it, man. And I'm not hustling at what I'm doing. And I'm like, geez, man, like we're like at our peak, I think we had like 900, something like that. And he had just started, like that happened like within the first 2 years. And I was like, aye. Well, I said, the only thing I could really buy from you, I said, are going to be like Northern Raleigh and, any of your customers that are consistent, like monthlies. I said, that's the only thing that I thought I could take off your hands. I said, I'd be willing to buy from you. I said, but I'm not interested in expanding into Wake Forest or any of that. It's just too far away for us. So I got way too much business here locally. And and he says to me, he's like, well, he goes, I really don't have any business that's set up like that. And I'm like, and I'm thinking to myself in my head, I'm like, is it possible that this guy never thought that he's going to be selling this business and getting out of it? Is it possible? Because when you get to that point and you're going to sell a business, think of how somebody would want to buy it. Same thing with a house. So if you're buying, you do this with all properties. So it's businesses, houses, anything that you're buying. If there's anything that you see that you don't really like, or you don't like about it, or something that causes you to question it, the next person that comes in to buy it is going to do exactly the same thing. Now, whatever gets people to pull the trigger and invest their time and money into something, knowing full well that it's really not good. It's like some guy that goes out to the bar and be like, well, she doesn't have any teeth in her mouth, but she looks pretty good tonight. So the same thing is with any other asset with business. Like you have to look at it from a selling perspective. And I'm not the first person to say this, but I'm like, how could this be? That this wasn't coming at this guy 100 miles an hour and he had to react and say, oh my gosh, I need to start a business. I need to do this. He's building it from scratch. If you build it from scratch, you can build it whatever way you want. And it's like he's just set himself up for failure, for disappointment, and get nothing out of it. Unless he could find, there's suckers born every day. So hopefully he could find some other sucker and he could sell them on how great of a business it is. And maybe they can do something with it. But where he's sitting right now, he's kind of dead in the water. He's got equipment that is aging and needs to be repaired. He has customers that are not consistent. So if somebody tries to, take a loan out and try to pay him, like, dude, loans, you got to pay it every month. So if you don't have business coming in every single day, every single month, how is that advantageous for somebody to buy and get into your business? It's like, that's nuts. So anyway, it's, I came out of it feeling like, I wouldn't say it made my Friday, but it just re-solidifies like me knowing that I'm, the choices and decisions that I make in business, regardless of whether, like, I'm not going to stay doing this because I want to get out of it too. I'm like looking to sell mine. If you put mine up against his, mine's a gold mine compared to his, just because of the way that I decided to set it up and me not take, let the customers push me around and create the market for me. The customers are not selling it. It's my interests. So he didn't go that route. And now he's in a situation where he's dead in the water. So at any rate, anyway, I just thought it was interesting. I thought I'd talk about it, but it's something that you need to think about when you decide to go off on your own, or if you have an existing company, what makes this, kind of make you feel a little bit better about how you're running your business. And then you come to the realization, if you know how your competitor or somebody that's in the same market is doing it, and you know how hard they're struggling, your price point comes into play. Like he and I were talking and say like, how long does it take for your average stop? I say, 3 minutes. And he's like, I can't get out of there for less than 6. You know what I mean? So he's got like twice as much time. And he's like, oh, what about your fuel economy? I was like, it's like, we switched over to these vans. I said, I get 17 miles a gallon. Oh my gosh, I get 12. Like every which way, like if you had a checklist of everything that he said, I'm just kicking his ass. But I didn't know, I didn't set off and that wasn't some goal. It's just like, I'm looking at every aspect of the business of some way to make it more efficient, right? Every little tiny thing. If I've got some kind of an out and go, be like, there's got to be a better way to do it. Like, I'm not going to do it like everybody else. There's a better way to do it. But I have experience in, machinery and stuff like that. So, and running businesses. So, software was another thing. And I'm going to have Dee on that is she's one of the owners of the softwares that we use. And it's a functioning software now, but I had beta tested it for years for them in the company. And I have no administrative staff because of it. The software it handles everything that a human being would handle, and it never bitches, and it always gets up every day, and it doesn't call in sick, and so on and so on. So, but this guy doesn't use it. And I talked to her this morning actually, and she said, we'll find out if he's using her software. She said, I can look it up right now. She's like, no, he's not signed up as a customer. And I said, well, maybe there's somebody else that's up in that region that, because once you're set up in their software, it's easy for us to migrate people from one company to another because they're already in the software. And it's like, it's a dead zone. So it just seems like the guy's like nuked. He's like dead in the water. It's kind of sad. But again, he didn't sound like the brightest bulb in the bunch. So write it down. My goodness. Be like, if you're birthing something, which is what you're doing when you start a company, get a wish list, like a Santa list. I want to do this and this and this and this and this. All right. And that's like the finish line. And then you gotta like write everything down that gets you to that finish line. Just make a list and say and if you don't know about things, learn about things. Because if you don't, the customers are going to run you out. This is exactly where this guy was at. So I guess it's good for us and my direction that we have and just kind of my methods that I've always used, and not so great for others. But for on his side of the fence, he doesn't know how good or bad, how good he could have had it or how bad he actually has it. He doesn't know yet. So ignorance is bliss, I guess. Cheers.